Does anyone want to share a mission? That's fine if you don't want to share. But again, when you're doing this pitch, you're going to have to share your vision of what you want your business want to be in the future, your mission, and your core values. Okay, so when these judges will look at you, they're going to look at those three points. So make sure you have your mission, your vision, and your core values. Okay, you can go to the next slide. All right. So what are ethics? So what are we talking about? What do you mean by ethics? So ethics, it's like an obligation for you to do what is right, what is just, fair, and to avoid harm. And of course, doing the right thing, right? So it's about having good judgment, moral principles, being fair, having fair play, equity. All those things are ethical behaviors that you should like weave into the fabric of your company. Because this is your company. Okay, you're going to set the stage for how your company is going to run. What your values are, what is your mission, what are your goals, and you have to have ethical principles built upon. So then, when that $1 million contract comes, the whoever is on the other side of the contract is going to know who you are and how you do business, and they're going to trust that you're ethical to fulfill that contract. Okay. Any questions so far? All right. So go to the next slide. So again, so where do you stand as an owner? So ethical decisions should be a part of your everyday business. Again, as I mentioned before, weave it into to your business. Have you ever heard of the proverb, "To whom much is given, of whom much is required"? I don't know. I think it's a Bible or some kind of scriptural proverb. Again, you have been giving much as a business owner, so much is required of you. Okay, your principles is gonna kind of give you the direction as to where your company is going to go. So you're required to do a lot. So we go to the next slide. So John Maxwell, this book, Ethics 101, in this book, he was talking about like 5 ethical questions that you should consider every single day when you wake up as a business owner. You should ask yourself these 5 questions. Are you always ethical? Are you mostly ethical? Are you somewhat ethical? Are you seldom ethical? Or are you never ethical? Remember, how do you want to be treated as a customer of your own company? Think about that. Our number 2, you see where it says, "I am mostly," or "Are you mostly ethical?" That's the gray area. Hey, you're not, you're somewhat ethical, but you just, you ride the line. But you got to be always ethical, because when you're always ethical, then you can go far with the business. Because again, as I mentioned before, I had $1 million deals. And I tell you, there's a gray area. It's not right and it's wrong. It's not right or it's wrong. It's wrong, but it's a gray area. So you got to be very careful, because somebody could discover that you're not being totally ethical with this contract, and they may just walk away from it. You can lose the deal. So just please try to have some ethics and try to be fair when you're doing business. All right, go to the next slide. So when we talk about ethics, so where do ethics come from? Where do we get them from? Right, the local community, right? So where you're born. I was born in Buffalo. I was born on the east side of Buffalo. So that's local community. I went to church. Okay. Some regions of the country have different ethical frameworks. Like, Buffalo has a different ethical framework than Las Vegas. New York City has a different ethical framework than Salt Lake City, Utah. So you got different. So you're going to get regions from the country. If you're coming from, I think someone's from Pennsylvania, right? You got different ethical framework there. Now, if you're a professional, again, you have professional codes of conduct. I'm a financial advisor, so we have a tremendous amount of professional conduct that we have to adhere to every single day, because we have to do what is in the best interest of the client. And again, your employer may have ethical traits that you learn. The society, your faith. If you're Catholic, you're Muslim, doesn't really matter. Every religious or religion has some kind of ethical framework built in. So that's where you get that from. The law, you get ethics from the law, right? They tell you, do not run that stop sign. Do not, speed, right? So you're going to learn ethics when you drive. And you get ethics from your friends and family, fellow workers, okay? So this work, kind of look at how you're going to develop, because you're evolving every single day. You're learning ethics on every single contact you have. Every single interaction you have, you're gonna learn ethics. But you have to build this into your business, because you in the business, you are one. It's not one person in the business, you are the business. So how you carry yourself ethically is going to, I would say, give you the growth in your business because people are going to look at you and know that you're ethical. Okay, go to the next slide. So this is a very, very, very important concept, conflict of interest. So always avoid conflicts of interest situations. But she's my cousin, right? Or she's my brother. Oh, wait a second. That's my cousin. That's my sister. I can hire her to be my accountant, even though she doesn't have any experience, right? So conflict of interest. What about doing business with clients? What about, so conflicts of interest are very serious things. It leads to fraud, bribery, leads to all sorts of things. So a conflict of interest is usually present when an individual has to choose between her and his interest and the interest of someone else or your stakeholders. So when you have to choose between it, don't do it because conflict of interest situations will always come back to haunt you and bite you. Go to the next slide. So you have an obligation as a business owner. You have a duty of loyalty to your clients. You have to also a duty to render independent judgment and be independent. You also have to protect your client's interests as well as your employees' interests. But again, your business, you got to protect your client's interests. So having conflicts of interest is not good. Okay, go to the next slide. So in John Maxwell's book, he was talking about adopting the golden rule. You guys heard of the golden rule, right?
Yeah.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? Everyone heard about that? But why should you adopt this golden rule for your business? Well, first of all, I mean, it's accepted by most people. You know, it's easy to understand. It's a win-win philosophy. The golden rule acts as a compass when you need direction. And I would say, I think about 9 major religions from Islam to Christianity, Catholicism, they have the golden rule woven into their the philosophy because it's very important. You have to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Okay, you can go to the next slide. So, should you adopt this golden rule for your business? I would say yes, because remember when the general public, again, some of your businesses will grow. I mean, you can develop a product and everyone loves it. Everyone is hunting you down for this product. How are you going to handle it when somebody gives you millions of dollars? Are you going to cut corners? Are you going to not hire a CPA? So you got to make sure you have this golden rule, do unto others, and make sure you have the ethical framework built so that your business can go pretty far. Okay, go to the next slide. Okay, so here, as a business owner, you're gonna face a lot of challenges and issues every single day. So you have 4 stakeholder groups. You have your customers, your employees, community, and shareholders, right? So for customers, are you pricing fair? Are you protecting consumer privacy? Now, privacy, do you have your client's files in the drawer? The drawer's not locked. The cleaning person come in, look at the social security numbers. So again, you got to protect the client's privacy. You got to package fairly, right? You have to advertise. You don't want to market, you know, illegally. You want to have product safety, right? Now, for your employees, of course, you have to adhere to all the employment laws. I think Mike is going to talk about that. You have to also have safe working conditions, right? You have to protect the employees' privacy. There again, you can't have, information about your employees hanging around because a hacker can get in there and they can perpetrate a fraud. And next thing you know, your employees' information is out there, right? So also protecting worrying about distracted employees, worrying about bribery and theft. You're going to also face ethical issues with the community and the environment. Are you protecting the environment? What kind of product do you have? Are you adhering to adopting to foreign cultures? You got all these different cultures coming to Buffalo. You got to accommodate them. You're selling a product, you better market to everybody. Unless if you don't want to market just one market to one particular group of people, you might as well shut down. You need to market to everybody and have a product that everybody could use, like, and desire, right? And also with the environment, be a good corporate citizen. Okay, adhere to legal mandates. Philanthropic. Are you giving back? You just made this $1 million. Are you going to give back to the community? Are you going to give back to Pasco? Say, hey, look, I just graduated. I'm making millions of dollars. Now I'm in New York City, and Pasco and say, hey, I want to bring more people to develop. So are you going to give back, right? Shareholders, make sure you have fair compensation for executives. Don't pay yourself millions of dollars and you got workers, 15 workers, you pay them the minimum wage. It's not fair, right? Quality board of directors. Don't just have a board member that is not qualified. Get you some good qualified people. Get CPAs on the board. Get people that can help build your business. All right, turn to the next slide. Okay, so in this Harvard Business Review article, Susan Leotold was talking about setting up an advisory ethics board. Okay, so say for example, you're gonna launch a new product or you're having problems with the sales trend or regulatory proposals coming out. You should have like an ad hoc type of meeting with, bring in your customers, bring in your employees, bring in your shareholders, community leaders, regulators. That way you can kind of get an idea, should you launch this new product? Is the product going to benefit society? That sort of thing. So at least you can know what is the best course of action for that, okay? And you can actually click on the link and you can get a copy of this, this Harvard Business Review. It's really good stuff. And plus she wrote a book about ethics too. She's a professor, so she's great. All right, go to the next slide. Okay, so this is very important. This is the pyramid of corporate social responsibility. So at the bottom, again, you are in business to make money, right? You're going to make money, right? So the base of the pyramid, you have an economic responsibility to your business to be profitable, right? That's the foundation, right? But then you also build upon that foundation is the legal responsibilities. You have to obey the law. You just can't just make money and not obey the law, right? And then you have ethical responsibilities. Okay, you have to be very ethical when you're making this money. And then finally, at the top of the pyramid, you have philanthropic responsibilities. Are you being a good corporate citizen? Are you giving back? There's starving kids out there. Are you gonna help the communities that you came from? Are you gonna give back to whatever cause that you have an affinity for? All right, go to the next slide. Okay, so that's why it's called total corporate social responsibility. Okay, so when you add them all up, the economic responsibilities plus legal responsibilities plus ethical responsibilities plus philanthropic responsibilities equals total corporate social responsibility. Okay, so you should be a socially responsible firm. Okay, make a profit, of course, obey the law, be ethical, and be a good corporate citizen. Because everyone's going to be watching you. As soon as you start making money, they're not going to bother you when you not making any money. As soon as you start making a lot of money, then everyone's going to start coming at your door. You're going to start, getting news articles. So you got to be very careful. Day one, you got to start being good corporate citizen and have good corporate social responsibility. All right, turn to the next slide. Okay, so this is one thing I learned in my MBA courses. That's this course about the 3 Ps, the triple bottom line. Okay, so sustainability equals profits, people, planet. Okay, it's a triple bottom line. So those 3. So think about Tesla, right? Tesla started this company. They're making billions of dollars. Okay, billions of dollars. They're making a lot of money. The shareholders are making money. They hired some incredible people. They're providing jobs for people. And also they're saving the planet because they have a electric car, right? So it's no more fossil fuels, right? So think about your business, and what is your triple bottom line for your profit, people, and planet? Think about it in those terms. Okay, go to the next slide. So this concept was created by this guy named John Elkington. He was a British consultant. He created this in 1984, and he's talking about these 3 areas. The profit, the P is the economic bottom line, material wealth creation. Again, the people, social bottom line, the quality of people's lives. Are you bringing jobs? Are you providing good jobs to people? Are you being, having good equity about it? What about communities? Are you building communities and nations? Okay. The planet, are you saving, are you protecting and conserving the natural environment? The emphasis is on planet. So remember, the three P's, the triple bottom line. I know I'm going through this kind of quick. I remember they in this one ethics course, it's like half the class was just on sustainability. I'm just going through it kind of quick because I don't have that much time. Any questions so far? All right, go to the next slide. All right, so you probably heard this before. These are the 5 C's of business lending. So this is the foundation of ethics when a business looking at when you're out there shopping for a loan from a bank, right? I work for a key bank and I closed $1.5 million in loans last year. 1.5 million. And that was small compared to some guys that closing 20, $30 million in loans, right? So the banks are going to look at 5 areas, okay? Your character, capital, capacity, collateral and guarantees, and conditions. Okay, you probably don't know what these are, but we're gonna kind of talk about them in detail. Okay, so go to the next slide. So who are you? Okay, so what is your reputation in the community? Of course, as a bank, we use like credit rating agencies to quantify whether you can get a loan, right? So your character is who are you? We don't really know who you are as a bank. We probably may not be able to meet you. However, we can look at your credit score, right? And we can see based on your credit score if you're paying your bills. And a good credit score, if you have anything over, let's say, at 680, 700. So try to work on your credit score because that's how we judge you. That's how banks look at, we're going to give you $100,000. We want to make sure you got a good credit history, right? So that's like your character and also reputation in the community. A lot of banks in the old days used to give what is called character loans. And basically, you've been in business for a long time. Reinette been in business for a long time. We know who she is. We know her business. We know her profit. So we're going to give Reinette, $50,000 because we know character lending. They may bring that back one day, but right now they're looking at your FICO score. I go to the next slide. Capital. So how much money do you have invested in this is your business. How much money do you have invested in your business? Okay, so show me the money. Show me the money. I'm the bank. Show me the money. I want to see what how much have you invested in the business? Does your business have a positive net worth? Do you have personal financial statements? Are your assets sound? Do you have a home? Do you have a rental property? Whatever. Because we want to see this because when we see this, we can say, look, we can grant you the money because you have some capital. Okay, so go to the next slide. So capacity. So are you making money? Now, capacity is kind of different. It's somewhat vague because if you are a startup, you may not be making money, but we can see from your business plan if you have the ability to make money, right? The ability to repay the loan. How are you gonna use this money? What are your cash flows? So when I do a loan, I'll get the income statement of cash flows, and personal and corporate tax returns. So that's how we can determine your capacity of paying us back. Okay, go to the next slide. So this is the most important part of this is conditions. Excuse me, collateral. Did we skip one? Hold on. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Collateral and guarantees. So can I hold your money or personal or property as collateral? So some banks will give what is called a collateralized loan. So you give me 10,000, I'll give you 10,000. Or sometimes the SBA has these programs, whereas if you invest 10% in your business, the bank will invest 40% and SBA will guarantee 50%. So we want to make sure, do you have assets just in case you don't pay the loan? Do you have a building? So can we come get this money if if you're not paying us? And when you personally guarantee the loan. So right now, all businesses have to personally guarantee a loan. So if you are a business, so Lucia, right? If you're whatever your business is, if you start a business, the business is the borrower, but you are the guarantor. You're going to guarantee this loan. Okay. So you go to the next slide. So this is very, very important. So conditions, the overall business environment. So what are the economic conditions in the economy? Can anybody tell me what's going on right now? Anybody have an idea in
We're
our
in the
economy?
middle. We're in the middle of a recession with some crazy inflation due to some changes in demand and supply.
That's very close. That's very good. So right now inflation is actually creeping in right now, but it hasn't really set in fully. So think about this. Right now, last year, actually 2019, 2020, we went through pretty much all four phases of the of the business cycle in a short period of time. We were expanding, then we hit a peak, and then we contracted. We went through a recession, right? Coronavirus, and went through a trough at the bottom. So right now we're starting to do an expansion phase of this economy. So that's when expansion means that when the gross domestic product grows two more consecutive quarters, then you got a rise in employment, right? Low interest rates, consumer confidence is high. This is the best time to start a business because people are going to start spending money. So that's the first phase. The second phase is the peak. That means that it goes to the highest point, can't go anymore. And then the government is going to step in and say, look, this economy is heating up too fast. We're going to have to raise interest rates to slow it down. Okay. And then the high interest rates will cause you as a business owner, I'm not going to borrow money because the interest rates are too high. So it's going to pull the economy back. So the high rates, and then that gives like lower profit. Contraction is when the economy is currently pulling back, is declining. The contraction or recession is the decline of GDP in two consecutive quarters. The economy went through that last year. The economy went down so quick, it was horrible. Economic hardship, high unemployment, right? Well, we're coming out of that. And then the trough means that it's bottoming out. Okay, the business activity is slowing. It's like recession. It's totally done. Everything is flat. And then the Fed is going to lower rates. So it's like a cycle. It's a continuous cycle. So right now, it's a good time to start a business. And if you guys are smart business owners, which I know you are, figure out a way to get a product in the client's hand, like this cell phone. Get your product in the client's hand as soon as possible, so they can love your product. Okay, they will love this Ellie, whatever product Ellie that you are selling. You got to make me love this product, like this phone. I need to love your product so I can love this product, and I can buy more of it and tell my friends and family about it. Right? That's the whole part of business. So right now the economy is starting to expand. So be an incredible salesperson. Again, you got to be the best salesperson in the world. You got to be the best marketer in the world because it's your business. And some of you, like I said before, you're going to make millions of dollars. But you have to start by knowing what business cycle we're in, and using your product to make people fall in love with it. Okay. So go to the next slide. I'm going through this pretty quick. All right, I think we missed one. Go back to conditions. Go back to, yeah, conditions. Right. I'm sorry. Go back before that. I think there was another one. Yeah, no. All right. I think I have everything. All right. So go to the next slide. All right. So again, when you go to a bank, it could be Key Bank, it could be any other bank out there. The bank is going to need 5 pieces of information from you. Now you can go click on the link and you can go to this, the free tools, through Key Bank or whatever bank. You can go to any bank, doesn't matter. But they're going to need to see a balance sheet. They're going to need to see an income statement, which shows your profit and loss, a statement of cash flows, and personal financial statements. They're going to need this. Doesn't matter. I don't care what bank you go to. Now, some banks, you pull your credit score, you borrow under $50,000. They may say, hey, Lucia, hey, I'm sorry, Lusa. Hey, I like your
Lisa.
business. You got a nice credit score. Hey, girl, I'll give you the money. Go on, buddy. Just $50,000. But when you come back for $100,000, they're gonna say, hey, I think I need some more information from you because we need to make sure you can pay us back. Okay. So go to the next slide. Now this is an example of a balance sheet. This shows what is on the balance sheet. So you have your current assets, cash, the liabilities, who you owe. Okay. Go to the next slide. Okay, income statement shows how much money you're making. What is the income? Okay, what are the costs of sales? What is your gross margin? Salary, advertising. So all of these schedules here, these documents, you can make up. You can say, look, I'm projecting out that I'm going to make this much money. I'm projecting out what my advertising costs will be. I'm projecting out what my insurance costs, my mortgage interest, all of these costs you got to project out because, Key Bank and all these other banks will give you money. We love to give you money because it makes us look better. But you have to show us that you can pay us back. That's the income statement. Go to the next slide. Cash flow. Okay, this is very important. We need to see the money coming in, the money going out. We need to see if you have an ending cash balance. If you have negative cash flows, we're not going to touch you. And a lot of times, people say, show a loss on your business. No, do not listen to that person. Fire the CPA. Fire that idiot. If the CPA is telling you to show a loss, fire him or her. Fire her. Just right away. Because you have to show some kind of profit in your business. Why are you doing this? You ladies are very smart. Show a profit, okay? So, but if you're not making a profit, then you got to figure out a way to make a profit. You can't just fudge the numbers either. If you're not making it, then, but you can't have negative, you just can't walk around with negative cash flows. Like you don't have any money, you got negative money in your pocket. It doesn't work that way. Okay, it's not like an accounting. I mean, I know a lot of accountants, wonderful CPAs, they're great. But if she tells you to show a loss every year, then you need to fire that person, get somebody else. I'm sorry to be harsh, but it's real life because again, this is real money, it's a real economy, and you have to be ready for what's ahead. All right, go to the next slide. All right, again, personal financial statements. So each one of you are going to have to prepare a personal financial statement. How much cash do you have in the bank? What is your income? What is the source of income? What is your mortgage like? What are your debts out there? And right now, as an entrepreneur, you need to be as frugal as possible, as frugal as possible, and try to tighten up so that you can show that your company is strong. Because when you walk out there in the platform in the real world, walking into a bank, they're going to look at you and say, wow, Allie, she got it together. Rene got it together. You guys got it together. I'm going to give you $100,000. And you performing that loan, they'll come back and say, well, I want 150,000. I want $1 million. We'll give you whatever you want as long as you qualify for it. You can show us that you can pay us back. All right, go to the next slide. That's the other part of the personal finance. Again, it shows like if you have any other liabilities, things like that. Shows your assets, bank accounts, stocks, bonds. All right, go to the next slide. All right, so you can go to the next slide. That's the signing of the. All right, so now this is our last topic. I know I'm going through this kind of quick. You guys can stop me anytime. I don't want to just keep running on here. We're going to talk about cancel culture. All right, so this is a very, 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 very important. I can say something on this call. I can get canceled just like that. Adam will say, you're canceled. I can get, fired. I mean, you can say something right now. Social media will pick it up and they will cancel you. It sounds kind of harsh, but cancel culture, the definition is like a phenomenon. Basically, it's like someone being ostracized, someone being deleted or struck from professional circles or thrown out of social clubs, like in high school. Remember, you got the kids here, the popular kids, you got the other kids here, you got the jocks, right? And if you can, hey, you knock out a jock, so you get in a fight, and this girl, she's a tall volleyball player. She's all up in your face. You hit her, knock her out. Wow, you're popular now. Well, they're going to give you all respect, right? Because now you are in the in crowd, right? So you are a strong person, right? It happens all the time. But cancel culture is very crazy because it happens mostly on social media. I'm not talking about the transgressions, the major issues, these guys doing some crazy or girls doing some crazy stuff. I'm talking about somebody, you said something a long time ago, something like, when you were 4 years old, you yelled at somebody on the swing, and they're coming back saying, hey, you said something when you were 4 years old, or you wrote something. So cancel culture really can affect your business. Just like watch how you donate money, okay? And watch how you vote, or watch how you, not vote, excuse me, watch how you give money to political parties. Use what is called a political action committee. Again, you're a company. There's no politics in company. You are a business. You have to be nonpartisan, right? You have to provide a product to Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, everybody, right? Is that right? You don't want to just provide. Now, I'm going to focus on a certain political party, right?
Yep.
You have to provide services and products to everybody. All right, go to the next slide. So who's being canceled? Okay, you guys seen like Paula Dean, Bill Cosby, Roseanne, the Muppets. The Muppets, come on, give me a break. You can cancel the Muppets. What about Dr. Seuss? It's like this is getting out of hand. Organizations like the Boy Scouts, Catholic Church, right? So what are the effects of being canceled? Contracts are being severed. Being blacklisted. You can't make any money. One day you're on top, next thing you're done. So what companies are doing now, they're using what is called a net promoter score. A net promoter score measures the likelihood of your customers referring your business to others. It's an indicator of customer satisfaction and brand loyalty. So again, that's very important to have some brand loyalty. If you have brand loyalty, people will, but you have to make sure you're providing a product and service at the highest level of satisfaction for the customers. Okay, go to the next slide. So watch what you say. I mean, that's the only thing I can say, because as you can see, the guy from, The Bachelorette. I mean, my daughter loves this show. And this country western guy, apparently I didn't know who the guy was, but this guy's a big deal. This guy makes millions of dollars. Okay, he made a comment, he was dropped from his label. So again, cancel culture, what you say is very important. Is it guilt by association? Yes, it is. Big brands, say one day you have Walmart as your client and you say something or you write something or you gave to some cause and some people didn't like it, they caught on to it. Next thing Walmart's going to call you up and say, I'm sorry, you're done. So social media is the judge, the jury, right? It can't destroy you. It can. It can destroy your business. It can destroy it, like done, you're done. Start over or go to another country, right? So you got to be very, very careful. What about free speech? There's no free speech in the business. None. Sorry, I'm being a little harsh. But then seriously, there's no free speech. There's no due process. So when you're selling a product or service, you got to be very, very careful because the public is going to look at you and say, well, wait a second. I thought this business was fair to everybody. And this person just made a comment on some social media thing you did a long time ago, and it's going to rear its ugly head. And I know they're going to talk about social media in the future, so I'm going to stop. So go to the next slide. I think I'm going a little bit too far there. So again, ways to avoid or prevent cancel culture. So first of all, you guys are in business. I was working at Merrill Lynch. The guy walked in the room and he said, I want everybody off of Facebook. And if I see anybody drinking beer or whatever, you will be fired. He said so many words. He checked all of the Facebook pages of all of the new associates and told us, take this stuff down because okay, I'm managing millions of dollars. You can see me drinking, acting the fool on social media, right? So remove questionable, controversial social media posts. Remove it. Okay, please. Watch what you say in public, private. Remember, everyone's watching you, everyone's seeing you. There's no place for politics in business, as I mentioned before. Use political action committees. Also, adopt a code of conduct for your business. You have to have it. And you're supposed to be the first person to sign a code of conduct too. Key Bank, we have all this code of conduct. We have to continually go through continuing education to make sure that we are compliant and that we're signing the ethics policy, code of conduct policy, compliance training policy. Code of ethics, again, just gotta be careful. You guys are successful entrepreneurs, you're making money, just make sure you watch everything. Also, again, watch donations, as I mentioned before, because your support will be supporting the cause by default. And establish like an internal website for your company, including, again, the code of conduct, the code of ethics policy, code of conduct policy, compliance training, social media. Again, some companies, you guys may have to go through anti-money laundering training or bribery training, things like that. You got to make sure that your employees are held accountable because you can hire an employee that can destroy your business. They can destroy it just like that. So be very careful. All right, go to the next slide. I'll get through this pretty quick. So again, social media policy outlines simply outlines how an organization and its employees should conduct themselves via the web. Okay, so make sure that somebody, whoever's permitted to represent a company officially online, make sure that person's representing you online correctly. Okay, the policy should have restrictions on, again, your employee should not be online at work. You guys should have two phones. You guys should have a phone for your business and a phone for your personal. Keep those two separate. Okay. Again, social media activities should be done on your own time. The employees, think about it. Now, if there's a problem, you know, who's the PR person? Who's gonna, what if your social media thing is hacked and somebody's shooting out some stuff? How are you gonna stop that? So you gotta make sure you stay on top of it. If you're gonna get involved with social media, make sure you really know what you're doing. Okay, there's lawyers for that to help you. Go to the next slide. Okay, so social media's policy is an extremely important document in the life of any company. A social media policy is a document established by the business that outlines the rules, practices, and procedures for employees utilizing social media. So if you click on this template here, if you click on there, it'll take you to a template of this company called Wonder Legal. It's a nonprofit organization. And you can actually create your own personal social media policy just like that. Now, make sure when you do the policy, make sure you have the description of the social media, all blogs, all online communities. So make sure your employees do not get on social media saying that they work for your company, because the company is going to stand for itself. If this person represents the company, then that person is speaking for you, your company. So you should say, look, personal social media use is not permitted at work. Again, be polite. If you're dealing with personal media, don't get in arguments with customers. Avoid making promises. I mean, we give fees back. We give thousands and thousands of dollars in fees backs. Little old ladies, or guys or whatever, they forget they overdrew their account. We give hundreds of dollars back because we don't want to have a bad reputation, right? So what about online? Somebody say, well, this bank, they charge too much. My grandmother got charged $500 in fees. Now we got a bad reputation. So now we gotta do some you know get the fire out on that. Okay, so avoid making promises. Do not answer questions that are not within your expertise. Of course, hire lawyers, and then follow all written company guidelines. Make sure you have this language. All right, go to the next slide. Okay, so this social media, so I kind of lifted this from several different, I didn't take it from my company, but it's something similar to this. You have to sign this document. All employees are required to comply with the rules and regulations listed in the employee handbook, as well as the social media policy. Your name should be the first one on this. You should sign it and make sure you adhere to it, because it's very important, because social media is a good tool. You can make a lot of money, but it could be very dangerous if you are on the wrong side of it. Okay, so go to the next slide. I think I'm almost done. I'm getting close to the end. Any questions at all? All right, so this is the last slide, and I'm just going to kind of go through a couple of things. This is very important to think about. There's a company called Texas Instruments. You guys haven't heard of this company? You probably heard of this. Founded in 1930. Okay, by four guys. They right now they have revenues of $14.4 billion as of 2022. They employ 29,888 employees. They make calculators, semiconductors, processors. They make so many products, and they have, what they hire. They actually have a good inclusion process too. Look at their website. They had hired a lot of women and men. And they, a long time ago in the 1960s, they were so popular with the making calculators. They were hiring everybody. Doesn't matter, women, men. And what they did was they said, look, I want you to make an ethics pledge. I want you to answer these ethics questions every single day as an employee of Texas Instrument. So they will have these little cards, right? and they will have these 7 little questions on here on these little cards. So, you say, for example, you go to Houston, Texas, you're going to say, I'm going to give a presentation on these computers or a presentation on these calculators. You open up your purse, whatever, and say, oh, get your wallet. Oh, wow, I remember this. I'm going to make sure I'm doing everything on this card. So imagine this 1970s, you got this girl, she's graduated, she's out there making, Texas Instruments paying money, making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And look, I got to be ethical. The 7-part ethics quick test, published by Texas Instruments in 1961 in their employee handbook, and they mandated that, listen, they made sure, they told the employees to carry this like you carry a phone today, right? We carry phones everywhere. So ask yourself these 7 questions. Number 1, is the action legal? So whatever you're doing, whenever you're out there selling, you're a business owner, wow, you're about to make this money. Is the action legal? Does it comply with our values? Again, these are your values. You got to establish your own values. Does it comply with our values? If you do it, will you feel bad about it? How will it look in the newspaper? I'm not talking about the Amherst Bee or Challenger. I'm talking about the real, like the USA Today and Wall Street Journal. If you do it, will it appear in the newspaper? I'm talking about bad stuff like, oh my God, this person did something horrible. Now they wanted to protect their reputation, so they publish these cards. Now if you know it's wrong, don't do it, right? I don't care if it's $1 million contract. You have to have some kind of integrity, right? You have to, again, because your business is going to be known by your actions that you do every single day. Now if you're not sure about it, it says, just ask, and then keep asking until you get an answer. So these 7 questions kind of reminded them, this is like in 1960s, 70s, 80s. They still have this when these guys and girls, they go out there and they do these presentations, selling these products, making all this money. She may have 2 copies. She may have a copy in her purse. She may have a copy on her dashboard of the car. She may have a copy on her desk. Think about it. Ethical decisions do matter. In this company, again, a $14.4 billion, they don't want any drama. They don't want any problems out there, right? They want to continue to grow and provide the best level of products. Take your time, look at that company, go on to Wikipedia or go on their page and see, find out more about the company and how they've been so successful. And a lot of it has to do with luck, of course, because computers were evolving, but a lot of it has to do with, ethics. What about companies like Smith Corona, all these other companies? Those companies are gone. Texas Instruments has been around since 1930. I want your companies to be around this long. Okay, think about it. You have to survive as a business owner, and ethical decisions will help you get there. Every ethical decision will matter. It'll affect your future. It'll affect the direction of your company, your business, your shareholders. It'll affect your family. So every ethical decision will matter. It's non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Okay, that's it. Any questions? Thank you very much. It's going to Q&A section now. Any questions?
Can I ask one?
Yes.
Say, all right, I got my PPP loan. Not spend it on a haircut for my son. That is strictly for my business because I'm keeping receipts of everything. And I'm like trying to be so above board till
Ooh, yeah.
stuff a little batty. So I'm like, there with everything I do, I just want my business to prosper. So like, how do I go about writing what you were saying? And now I've forgotten the name of the document. Name. Not
Is
a
it
code,
social media policy or
social media policy, and there's another one that you were talking about, like some kind of like charter or something that you follow,
well, the social media policy inside that, you can click on that link and it's there. I don't know if you guys get the copies of these slides, but you can actually develop your own social media policy. But every company should have I mean, you can pull a lot of this online, but you need to get you a lawyer. And there's a lot of lawyers out there, some good lawyers, and you contact one, she may do some pro bono work, but you have to have, I'm gonna actually go back and you have to have a code of ethics policy. Yeah, a code of ethics policy, a code of conduct policy, a compliance, training, social media policy, and try to develop an employee handbook. Because you need to have these, I would say, ethical framework built in at inception of your business. Because again, like I said before, I was talking about Ellie's product. If everyone falls in love with it, you start making all this money, like it's going to blow your mind. How are you going to function? You need to hire some good attorneys. You need to make sure you have a framework. So when you start hiring employees, you tell them, look, you do this or you're fired. Or you make sure you have to adhere to the policy guidelines, ethics policy. Have your intranet, internal website so they can sign on. They can do their training. They can know what's going on with compliance and all of the current laws, because it's so important. Because again, you can get sued. You can get sued as a business owner. Somebody can say you said something wrong, or somebody can say whatever, but you got to protect yourself. You have to have ethics at the inception of your business. You got to try to do what's right and just try to stay within the framework. But if you go to that, actually go back a few slides to the one slide is, let's see, keep going back. Actually, yeah, go back one. Yeah, I'm gonna click on here. If you click on there, no, go forward one. If you click on, go back one. Yeah, right there. If you click on the link, right? If you click on that link, it's gonna take you directly to the social media policy that you can, as a template, so you can add the name of your company in there. And the Wonder Legal is a nonprofit organization, and they can actually, I think they do have some other templates of other policies, like that you can actually, code of ethics. You can add some of your own information in there, but it's like a generic, standardized, get started type of thing. So at least you can know, if you're hiring an employee, if you're going to hire an employee, make sure they adhere to these policies, because it's so real out there. You can say one thing. Listen, I can say one thing that can destroy me. That's crazy. Isn't that crazy? So as a business owner, you want to make sure, like, don't let your good be evil spoken of. Like, I'm not going to name the company because I don't want to get into politics, but there's a company out there that apparently gave money to one organization. That organization gave money to some other organization. The source was this company. They say, oh my God, this company is against certain rights because they gave money to this company who gave money to the other company. It's like, that's not fair. But you got to watch, again, you got to watch where you get your money from too. You got to watch your investors, right? If you got some drug lord, this guy is going to say, or girl, she comes up to you and say, hey, Cynthia, hey, I got $1 million, girl. I'm going to invest in your, where did you get the money from? Well, you know how it is. Ronette, when somebody walk up to you and say, I want to invest in your business, you need to find out, well, who are you? Why do you want to invest in my business? They could try to take over your business. They could buy, again, if a company owns 51% of your business, they own your company. They can tell you what to do, and you'd have to just fire yourself and walk away. So having all these policies in place, you got to find a good attorney. I don't know if Adam has a source of, I know there's some other courses and classes going to talk about that, but it should be a database of some good attorneys that you can call to find out how to set this up. But I know the Wonder Legal, if you click on that link, hopefully you get copies of this slide. If you click on the link, you'll see his template of social media policy. That is free. Actually, I did it for myself. I just did it, and I, clicked on there and just did a little template. I should have put it on there. But again, that's a good way for you to start. So what other questions? Hopefully that answered your question.
I have a question. So I make plant-based cheeses.
Oh yes, I'm gonna lose weight. Come on, give me some. I'm trying to cut this weight down.
I do not claim that my product helps anyone manage their weight. Um, but so basically my industry is very, very new. Like within the last 20 years new. There are not a lot of laws and regulations. Most states have no idea how to regulate non-dairy or non-traditional items. So when it comes to kind of basically being a part of an industry that is so new, how do you navigate creating your own code of ethics so that you're complying with the law that does exist, but you're also part of a new market that isn't quite, like, the law isn't quite caught up yet?
Ooh, girl, that's, first of all, you're gonna make a lot of money. You listen, you're gonna make a lot of money because again, everyone is looking to plant-based products, okay? Because again, it's healthier for you, has a lot of benefits. Now, first of all, there's a lot of things that you have to look at. Number one, you need a good lawyer, good attorney. You have to make sure you have patents on that, trademarks, things like that to protect yourself. Make sure you have domain names. Those are critical things you need to make sure you need to have. And you need to have good lawyers because those laws are evolving every single day. And you just need to have really good lawyers to make sure that you create something, you have a patent on it so that no one else could actually replicate your product. And then number two, you want to make sure that if you're talking health benefits, you want to make sure like I said before, hey, I thought I was this cheese, hey, I thought I was gonna lose weight. I'm not losing weight. So you got to make sure that you talk to some good lawyers. You need to find some lawyers that specialize in that type of product mix so that you can get the proper advice.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
that
why
that
I
is
don't claim my product can help you lose weight. I don't say that. I've never said that.
yeah, but no, but it's funny when you mention that, Ali. It's the perception that again, all these foods, you if you get say for example, you get a contract with Whole Foods, like Whole Foods is looking for, and next thing you know, you big company, you need to find out right now what you need to do legally,
Mhm.
how you need to manage the legal process of your product. Make sure that you have patents on it. Make sure you have a trademark because I tell you, you can take that product to another country and they can replicate a cell phone within hours in certain countries. So your product, again, if you don't have a patent on that technology or the process of making your food, this product, then somebody can replicate it. Just replicate your business and take off. And the next thing you know, you say, hey, what happened? What happened? Just like Bitcoin, you see, Bitcoin, you got what 10,000 coins, all these different replications of the one product, and people are confused as to what is real and what is fake. So you got to make sure you protect yourself. That's a good question, though.
Thank you.
Yeah,
What other? So I see
Luisa,
Louisa,
Luisa.
Louisa.
Yes,
Yes. What is your question?
I don't have a question. I have a comment. I think that there is a difference when we talk about cancer culture, when it is the company that decides to withdraw a product versus when an outside source uh, decides to condemn or eliminate you. For instance, when it comes to the mopeds and Dr. Seuss, I don't say it was Facebook or any of these people that canceled them. It was the agent, the company deciding that their product was discriminating against some people. And I think this is a result of being more aware by some companies of the effect that the product have on people who are different in some respect. So I would put them as example of cancer culture because this was the company itself who decided to withdraw it. It wasn't coming from an outside source.
Well,
And I don't know, maybe you have a different idea, but that's what I think.
yeah, I think it was damage control. I think what happened with that is that these organizations, these companies saw what was happening, and they decided to take proactive action. But
Mhm.
something could have happened. They had to do damage control really quick. Just like, you got these different Uncle Ben's rice, and Chimema
And
uh,
you-
syrup,
Yeah,
right? All these different things, it was never right. But
yeah,
it's just that, you know, people just came to the realization it's offending people. So it's your business starts. You got to make sure, again, like I said before, there's people coming from other countries, other worlds. You have to provide products for them. We just
mm,
can't just think about, one thing I like about my bank is that you walk into, you have, we have this thing called Voyant, right? So somebody come from Burma and they want to do a mortgage. I call the number and get a translator from Burma. They get right on the line and they're talking to the person through me. I
yeah,
open accounts like that. It's amazing. So you have to evolve as a company and make sure that you're providing products and services to everybody. Because then
exactly.
say for example, if I have a product and my product is a certain color, to say, well, why do you always have the same color product? That's what Apple did. You can get an iPhone in any color you want.
Yeah,
You can get any color iPhone, right? You can get any
yeah,
color, so you have to evolve. But what happened with those companies, the Dr. Seuss, and the Muppets, they did damage control. Something happened somewhere where it kind of blew up and they settled it down. They came up proactively and said, look, we're going to solve this problem right away. They got in front of it because otherwise it could have looked, really bad. Just like what's going on in some other industries, like, the Catholic Church, these things like that, things have happened a long time ago is coming to light. That's why as a business owner, you can't have relationships with your employees. You can't do business with your customers. You
right.
can't accept bribes. I mean, the money looks good, but you gotta, or this guy, why are you gonna hire him because he's a gorgeous looking guy? Well, he's a nice looking guy. Maybe but is he qualified? Does he have a degree? If you require people to have degrees for
Yeah,
your business, again, so think about that. So that all goes into cancel culture. You can't say, well, she's only hiring, you know, a certain person, or she's only. You got to be fair across the board. You got to hire the best qualified person because guess what? The community of Buffalo, the community of wherever you are, is looking different. You got to provide products and services
mhm,
to everybody. I mean, that's one thing I love about Walmart. I'm not promoting. I don't own the stock. I own mutual funds, but but I love Walmart because Walmart will have a product for everybody. You
yeah,
walk in Walmart, they don't care who you are. It's like Google. You put something in there, Google doesn't care who you are. Just put the information in there. We'll give you what you want. All your businesses have to be the same thing, same way. Like the cheese, I love that because everyone loves cheese, right? And
mhm,
this product is going to be for everybody. So you market it to everybody. Hey, put it in Spanish, put it in, Arabic, put it in whatever. I mean, just get that product out there because guess what? People start buying your product, it's gonna blow your mind. They're gonna love it. You're gonna say, wow. 5 years down the road, you may have 30,000 employees. Just never know. But you have to start now. Again, get a good lawyer. Most importantly, watch what you say. Have the social media, control that whole thing. Because if you mess up there, that's why, KeyBank, if you go on social media and say, I work for KeyBank, blah, 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 they will fire you because it's in the policy that you're not supposed to do that, and you're not supposed to represent, you can't represent. We have our PR person, one guy that does PR, and we have this lady, she's a lawyer. You type the stuff in, they give you information, they don't, they don't say anything, you don't say anything, let the PR person handle. That's how you need to run your business. I know it seems complex, but you have to be very slower with your response when you're dealing with the public. Like somebody say, well, Allie, wow, how would you explain this explosive growth, about your company? You just got to be very careful what you say because you can say something that could cancel the whole thing, right? So I'll let my lawyers talk about that. So you got to just be very careful. But hopefully, I answer that question about cancel culture. It is real. It's hard to overcome that. Like some people are actually getting over that. Like Kevin Hart, for example, he made a comment 10 years ago, and he couldn't do the Oscars or whatever he was going to do because of that, right? You remember that? And
Yeah,
he's just now recovering from that. They had to soften his butt down because now he made a nice little movie. He's getting more, softer to show that because otherwise he would have been done, just canceled, just like that. That's a shame. But he said it. We said a lot of stuff a long time ago. you know, right? A long time ago. We did a lot of stuff a long time ago. But if somebody found out, thank God there was no social media, on the playground when somebody fouled me. I was playing basketball, somebody fouled me. I'm like cursing, like, why didn't you follow me? Pushing them, acting aggressive, right? And then people see that, they're gonna say, oh, I don't know if I want to do business with this guy. But
yeah.
think about it.
I
That's,
don't think, if someone is providing misinformation or is espousing these conspiracy theories that are really going to damage a lot of people, do damage to a lot of people, I think they really should be canceled. I have a strong feeling about that because, for instance, if we take the COVID vaccine, how many people are exposing themselves to COVID and not taking the vaccine because they have heard or read the wrong information, like a chip in the vaccine to control your mind or things like
right,
that.
right.
The damage that that is doing to the people, I mean, is incredible.
Yeah, it is very incredible what's happening. I know what our key bank did, when they lightened the restrictions, they sent the policy around saying, look, if you're fully vaccinated, you can take your mask off, but you have to sign this policy stating that you did that because we don't want to get sued if you catch the virus by wearing a mask. You see what I'm saying? So bank like that, 136 billion, whatever, sorry, 172 billion. They want to make sure they protect themselves, the employees, customers, and want to make sure that you take your mask off, whatever you think about it, we got to make sure we protect ourselves. But yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of misinformation out there. But as a company, you have to control it. You are the PR person, or you need to hire somebody to control that noise.
yeah.
Because
Right.
if you don't, then next thing you know, your
And you're
business is gone.
liable.
Right.
Let's say someone gets to your bank and gets infected and the bank hasn't been taking precautions, that person is going to sue you.
Right. That's why we have all these policies. We have all the signs around. You
Yeah,
walk into any bank, you see all the signs. We have all, where all the signs are there. We're complying with all the laws what our lawyers told us to do, so we won't get sued.
exactly.
You know, that's why like Mark Poloncarz, what he did was he was smart. He said, look, everybody got to come to the stadium, got to be, vaccinated, right? Remember that whole thing? But he was protecting because he didn't want somebody to sue the county. Think about it. Somebody going to the game, you're going to sue the county, right? The
Right.
county, right? So a lot of things are happening. Again, to wrap this up, as a business owner, you have to stay in front of it. You got to stay on top of it. You got to be very careful what you say and do. Have good lawyers. Surround yourself with some good people that's going to keep you out of trouble, keep you out of jail. Make sure you have those policies in place,
Yeah.
confidentiality policy, all these policies in place, protecting customers' privacy information. Have that information in place so that you won't get in trouble. I know it's tough, but again, you guys sign up for this as business owners, and you have to just get the information out there. I mean, this
Yeah.
is an
Yep.
incredible, what Adam is doing, what Pat Sony is doing, all the donors, they're doing something incredible. Give you the information so you can be a winner. You can go out there and you can win. You can be a business owner and you can make a lot of money. It's not about money sometimes too. It's about providing livelihood for people and doing something, creating something that was never existed before. You guys are doing it. I'm very happy with that. I'm very proud of you guys are doing it.
Yeah, I'm very appreciative of Paston for the initiative and also of all the sponsors of the program and the instructors. I think I have been in business for over 32 years, but I still had a lot to learn.
Yeah.
It's, one thing that I think we can all take away is, if you act ethically, it makes it really easy to keep your story straight, right? Because you just tell the truth.
That's right.
If you act ethically, you don't have to spend as much time getting ahead of the story. You just take it as it comes. You just do the right thing. And I think ethics take probably more time on the front end to kind of okay, we have to double check, triple check, go through the proper separation of duties. We have to make sure that we go through that 7-question scorecard like Texas Instruments. But the more you do that, the less time you have to deal with kind of the riffraff that comes from that and the fallout from some scandal. You're not going to have a scandal, right?
Right.
And you can spend more
Exactly.
time on the business, right? So ethics is one of those pillars of the business that allows you to operate more effectively and more efficiently. If that pillar is strong and you are always 100% like this, for me, I think that there are several pillars. There's profitability, knowing your market, and also things like ethics. But ethics is, I think, the one where you have to be on 100% of the time, and it's not complex. It doesn't mean it's easy, but it's not complex. You do the right thing, you ask the right questions, you cover your rear, and I think a lot of ethics is instinctual, but it's also making sure that you're going out of the way to ask the right questions and get the right knowledge, and then operating in the right manner. So Albert, thank you so much. This is a great presentation.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We're gonna make it available to everybody. It'll be up tomorrow. So both the recording of this session as well as the PowerPoint will be available tomorrow for everybody. And if you have any questions about that, you can direct them to me. And if it's something you want to ask Albert directly, we can do that too. We can get you in contact with him if necessary. But this was great. So Albert, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome, guys. Thank you for having me.